My name is Eric Jolly, and I am the President and CEO of St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation. Because we're a community foundation, we have the good fortune of partnering with both nonprofits and donors throughout the state of Minnesota. These relationships give us a front row seat to tremendous acts of generosity and impact, of courage, compassion, love. And each day, especially during these challenging times in all corners of our state, from our smallest towns to our largest cities, people are working together to create an equitable, just, and vibrant Minnesota where all communities and people thrive. In this present moment, we'd like to share these stories with you. Otis, it is wonderful to see you again. Can you tell us a little about yourself and about Ujamaa Place?
First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Jolly. I've been at Ujamaa for approximately 9.5 years. We are celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. Ujamaa has a very specific mission. We work with young men that's put them on a path of transformation. A lot of our young men, 18 to 30, have had some difficulties in their life. Most of them wound up in the criminal justice system or in the foster care system. So we get that population that we try to put back on the track, put them on a pathway to prosperity. And we do that in a logical model that we call the theory of transformation.
I've seen the theory of transformation put to work. I've seen Ujamaa men rise to the better selves that they always imagined and serve our community in remarkable ways. But it's got to be a challenge now. How has COVID-19 pandemic affected the way in which you connect at a distance?
Yes. Yeah, the COVID-19 has been a tremendous assault on our theory of transformation. So many of the guiding principles that we live by, which is stabilizing men's lives, creating an environment and they feel safe and they can trust themselves, put them on a pathway to dream again. And we do that pretty much in a very tight community. A lot of things about the COVID-19 has put us in a position that we kind of lost that community. And we lost that ability, a lot of the one-on-one coaching in person that we had to do. But it also has put us in a position that we had to concentrate on safety. As information has come forward, as you know, some of the underlying health condition really has an adverse impact on the young men that we serve. So that big educational piece has been huge for us. It's been huge to educate them on the safety, taking precautions, and also it's exposed to lack of housing. Right away, we only had a small percentage of our guys that were in housing that was managed by Ujamaa. And so, again, it was very hard to comply with shelter in place for so many of our men. And that's probably been the most heartbreaking one. But the ones that we had in housing, though, we've been able to keep them on track on their transformation journey, providing not only shelter, but supplies, cleaning supplies, clothing. So it's very important that we expand our reach to people that's not in our housing, though.
One of the things that I've seen for some of the most successful nonprofits in our community is at this time when their resources and the tools that they have to bring forward have become more limited, they've actually expanded the way in which they work and expanded some of the way in which they express their mission. You've done that with clothing and cleaning supplies that you never imagined doing. What other kinds of innovation and creative solutions have you brought to dealing with community at a distance?
But no doubt, right away, to keep men on that journey, we started relying on technology. So immediately, with shelter in place, we began a lot of remote learning. We were able to use some of the assistance we got to put in computers into the houses that we have, as well as laptops, so they can be more personal. And of course, through telephone conferencing. But we used one of our partners, Highway Federal Credit Union, and they were allowed up to set up what we call a bank account so that we can put a little economic incentive in there. So every class that a man take, there's like a $5 or $10 stipend that goes into that account. And that's just to make sure they're attentive, engaging, and help us all get accustomed to remote learning.
It's phenomenal. So some of what you've done is reach out to other partners in your community. I know Ujamaa Place has got a large network of supporters. Where have you seen some of that more creative or innovative leadership that's really helped you serve your mission?
The most creative way is It's just how my partner, especially funding community, stepped up right away. And then in the initial calls, Dr. Jolly was for us, what do you need? How can we help you? And I just have been very pleased that a lot of our people from the foundations, where they said they took restrictions off a lot of those funding. A lot of our individual donors, they stepped up. They would normally give at the end of the year. They gave earlier. Even some of the government partners that was giving us grants, they were willing to work with us to do budget revisions, to put the money in place what we have right now. Because probably 70% of our income come at the last quarter of the year. So we really in an economic desert right now. So those budget revisions and the foundations to step up with grants that was allowed to come earlier. We was able to apply for the federal stimulus and get the payroll protection plan, which allowed us to retain our staff. And that was crucial. The connection that the men have made with their coach or with the guidance counselor, the navigators. So we was able to keep the team intact. So those was huge that I didn't have to lay off any staff to keep this going.
You've got a remarkable staff, and as well as remarkable men in the Ujamaa program. Is there a story that you could share with us to let us know of how this is working today?
As you know, we provide a lot of re-entry work. A lot of our men had contact with the criminal justice system and they're coming home. And I've just been very pleased that the work that the city of St. Paul, that our friends at Ramsey County Community Corrections are doing on trying to pave that way for young men coming home. They are listening to some of the recommendations that we have. They have access to be at the table, part of the planning committees. And I'm also like the Department of Human Services, looking at ways of keeping people employed by driver license revocation and child support payment. So I'm very encouraged that people can seem to get on the same page about doing some to help this population serve to keep going. So I'm very encouraged by the funding community and the government responses. I guess there's hope out there. There's universal hope that's taking place.
I have a completely different question, and it's about you. That is, you've followed Ujamaa men before there was an Ujamaa Place. You were at one time a warden in the correctional system. And when you left that, you moved from the processing end to the receiving end. Tell me about that story. What motivated you to this?
Great question. I've always felt that this work, being a change agent, working in social justice, was just been in my DNA. I've been so fortunate. You mentioned my career in corrections. I was probably the most misfit person in corrections because I was working for a very conservative agency, but it was all about the people. I was fortunate that I had an agency that appreciated my skill set. I did not ever see the offense. I saw the person. I saw people that was living in disadvantaged neighborhoods, that was navigating poverty, that made mistakes that could have been me. I saw a lot of me in that. And coming to Ujamaa, I see myself in these men, and I always try to create that safe village. And I think what separated from me from Moses, I grew up in a safe village, and I try to create that same atmosphere here at Ujamaa. That these young men that do have hopes, they have goals, they have families, and to be able to help them create those dreams and show them a pathway to prosperity, I get a lot of joy out of. So actually, coming from being an institution warden to being a nonprofit was pretty seamless for me, mainly because I ran into a lot of people that thought like I did, believed I did. They believed in social justice and equality, and so it's been a great ride so far.
That theme of social justice and equality comes through so plainly in the now famous Ujamaa Breakfast, when a number of leaders from our community have a chance to see what the work is and the outcome in transforming lives and building community and giving us hope for what we all can become. Now we're going to miss that breakfast. It's a tough time. Many of us are asking, how can people support your work and community? What are the ways that we can help you?
You know, the breakfast is such a showcase. It's a showcase of our work. It's a chance to show our investors. We're showing off the investment. We are showing what stabilization does. We are showing that we get people that people are giving up on, the families that give up on, that can make them relevant. So we're going to miss that. But what we'll be asking is our community to continue to be champions, to continue to look at the work we're doing, and that I will fight for social justice, for living wage employment, trying to still fight for equality in housing, creating more affordable housing. We continue to ask those champions to continue to step up and help us cause, and if you believe in what we're doing, and expect for some version of our breakfast to take place. We are at the table planning, Dr. Jolly, how we can reach out virtually to still show these men stories, show their story of resiliency.
Thank you. There's so many ways in which those of us involved in employment issues or housing issues or crossing paths with the legislature can stand up and say, here's an example of something that works, something that rebuilds community and gives us all a stronger place to live. So, Otis, my chance to cross paths with you has been one of the most enriching times of my experience in St. Paul, and I appreciate all that you do. Is there anything else you'd like to leave us with? Final thoughts?
I do need to thank you. This is special. Your acknowledgement of our work, it means the world to us. You one of our first donors. You believe in us first, and it means a lot to us to have funders like you involved in the work that we're doing. So just want to say thank you.
Well, I want to thank you. I'm fond of saying one of the first steps towards justice is the courageous recognition of injustice. You have been a man of courage, and you have helped our community grow better because of it. Thank you so much for joining us and spending time in this present moment.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And be safe, my friend.
Thank you. You as well.